this game.
We couldn't ask for much more to this point in the second half. A gorgeous day, one-score game. 1st and 10 here. And he will get this into the end zone. Touchdown, Green Bay. Christian Watson, 25 yards. And the Packers take the opening kickoff of the third quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead. The Packer offense and Jordan Love staying out there, so they're going to try to go for 2.
The Packers will set up for the 2-point conversion.
They'll look to throw. And this will be caught. So the try for 2 good. And it pushes them out to a 15-0 lead. And around the goal line, especially on 2-point tries, sometimes the QB's best friend is that big target, the tight end.
I love how you described it because you know he's going to have some length and some catch radius as well as a big body to keep people away from the football.
And they will wrangle it down a couple yards shy of the 30.
The Giants take over 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line.
The Giants offense at the line, ready to begin their next drive. And their deficit a little wider than it was at halftime. Does that touchdown a minute ago change the thinking here at all?
I think it does, at least a little bit, because now urgency has to start setting in.
Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Micah Parsons. And his guys are going to take over at the 31-yard line.
Intercepted. The Packers take over 1st and 10.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10.
Down. Blue 32.
Following the interception, Love. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard.
How about that shuffle pass? Or if you want to call it the shovel pass, that's fine too. That's one of those plays that you take a little bit of risk there because you're trying to throw the ball into the middle of the field where a lot of big bodies lurk, and they can knock it away, pick it off, but they were able to execute it successfully on that play.
A gain of 5, good enough for the 1st down.
Good job of just taking what's there. He found his man over the middle for the 1st down. Everyone always wants to see the big highlight plays, but those smart decisions that keep the chains moving are just as important.
Back to throw now on 1st down. Touchdown, Packers! Matthew Golden from 17 yards out. And the Packers are able to extend their lead in the final seconds of this third quarter. So they're able to capitalize there on the short field, and that might prove to be the score that turns out the lights.
The party's over. Oh, sorry about that. That's an old reference there, folks. But, yeah, they've been the better of the two teams by far, and that's great complimentary football right there. Defense gets the turnover, sets up the short field, and the offense goes right out and scores to open up a pretty sizable lead.
Giants, nothing. To kick off for Green Bay.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Giants offense at the line, ready to begin their next drive. I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
And that is going to do it for this third quarter of action. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Throwing his dart. That one taken in by Neighbors. And that's good for a gain of 6. And they're going to face an uphill battle here on 3rd and long. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. You're tackling them almost on the spot. That means they have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
And that is incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it. Here's Dart. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. And this one will be returned to right around the 38-yard line. Well, I get it, Charles. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Down big, they just sent their receivers out, let it fly. But the defense, they were ready.
Yeah, and there aren't too many people left in this stadium that couldn't see that coming. But that's not a major criticism at all because you had to try it. What you're hoping for is one of your athletes out-athletes everyone else and makes a dramatic play.
Touchdown, Packers! Matthew Golden, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Packers up the lead to 4 scores now here in this 4th quarter. So still throwing here in the 4th quarter with a pretty sizable lead, and now that lead even more sizable. And if nothing else here, CD, a chance to pile on some stats before this one wraps up, and he did just that.
Brandon, convention tells us it's time for them to get off the gas a little bit, right? But you and I both know the receivers don't want them to because, as you noted, this is their chance to pile on the stats. If they got their way, they try to get every single spot in the depth chart points before this game is over.
At their own 35-yard line.
The Giants offense at the line, ready to begin their next drive. I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't really know that they're playing to win with this deficit in the 4th quarter. They're just trying to erase that 0 on the scoreboard, Charles, and get some type of momentum to carry into the film section tomorrow.
If you get any type of points on the board, it'll count as a moral victory, although no one will talk about that in the post-game press conference. That's not something you mentioned in the NFL. And this loss, it already stings and will for a while, but everyone on that offense knows it'll sting a lot worse if they don't put some points up on the board.
Nothing open downfield, so he'll throw it away.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
Over the middle, and there's a diving catch. Give him 30 yards there.
Well, my dad would say sometimes, I'm just scratching my head here trying to figure out what was going on there defensively. How did you lose him in the middle of the field? If you're going to lose a receiver, make sure it's someone on the short side of things, not deep downfield, that can hurt your defense.
To throw now, Dart. Buying time is, and he is going to go down. Back at the 11-yard line. The sack will push him back only a couple yards, but certainly not what they were hoping for on 1st and goal. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. After the sack here, 2nd and 11. Here's Dart. Touchdown! Calvin Austin, an 11-yard touchdown. And the Giants are finally on the board here in the 4th quarter. The Giant offense going to stay on the field as they'll go for 2.
The Giants.
They'll try and throw for it. Dancing to his left. And he'll get in. And they're going to draw themselves 2 points closer. And with a successful 2-point try, the QB rolling out, I would imagine on the defense that makes it tough. When he goes out, he's got the option to run or pass.
Yeah, it really does. If you decide not to bring extra people or extra pressure, maybe you have to have a spy on the quarterback, someone to account for him, because oftentimes that is the unaccounted for player.
And good starting field position. He'll get this one all the way up to about the 35-yard line.
At their own 35-yard line.
About set to get this drive started. The Green Bay offense at the line. Well, they don't really need the points here, Charles, given what we're looking at on the scoreboard, but they've scored on 3 consecutive possessions, 3 consecutive drives, and I'm sure that they would like to keep that streak going here and continuing to pour it on.
And things have gotten that way in the NFL, haven't they, partner? Because in the old days, people would, they'd get off the gas a little bit, right? But now, people continue to accelerate, but we'll see what they decide to do as they come out for this one. But the way that this game has gone, they've got to be awfully happy with their execution overall.
And he'll push this forward only to about the 42-yard line. It'll be a pickup of a couple, and it leaves him with a 33.
That's it. That's what you want. Straight ahead, positive gain. Just keep that clock ticking.
Love from the gun on 3rd down. Caught on the right side, Reed. Yeah, this is only going to be a gain of 2. He needed 3. It's 4th and 1.
A short gain that doesn't get them the first down brings up a 4th down situation.
Really nice job defensively. They knew where the sticks were. They got the stop before it. Yikes. Terrible kick headed straight for the sidelines. And now that'll kick out of bounds, and this is going to be spotted back at their own 30. Oh, man. The Giants offense at the line, ready to begin their next drive. They're down big here late. I don't know. You just one last drive here for pride.
Some people like to do that. I remember playing for a guy once. We were down huge, and someone said, "Coach, what do you want to call?" He just waved a hand like, "Who cares? Let's get out of here and do something some other time." But some teams like to do something at the end to feel a little bit better as they continue to move forward.
Yeah, probably just want to put this one behind them. 2nd down and 8.
2 yards on the pickup. It's 2nd and 8.
To throw, Dart.
42-yard line.
Eluding. And now the ball's out. Fumbled near midfield. And the Packers pick it up. And the return comes to a halt right at the 44-yard line. And I don't know that that fumble's going to matter a whole lot. You look at the deficit here in the 4th. It doesn't matter. The coach on the sideline still scratching his head.
Yeah, not only scratching his head, but probably writing a note or two about, we're going to address this come practice next week, because maybe that's the reason we're down this far. Doesn't matter at this point, but being sloppy throughout the game, not going to help him improve.
Incomplete.
Here's 2nd and 10.
It leads to 2nd and 10.
That one looks like he'll throw here. That's taken in by Golden. The Packers going to use one of their timeouts. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages.
First down. 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line.
Looking to throw. Love. And this will be incomplete. 1 second left to go. Well, 4th quarter with a 3-score lead here, Charles, but they're still going back to the air and looking for more points.
Well, with this game well in hand, it's an opportunity for the guys to come off the bench and get a chance to play. And a lot of coaches, they want to run their full playbook no matter who's on the field.
On 2nd and 10, Love. And it's incomplete. They're still throwing to the very end, but now this game is over. Well, this was a very close ball game at halftime, Charles, but in the second half, that offense kind of kicked things into another gear, and they were able to pull away for the victory.
And, Brandon, I think they're the type of team that just looked in the mirror and said, hey, ton of pressure on, but we're the type of team that can flat out handle it. They stood up with confidence, and made it happen for a victory.
So that's a wrap for Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin, and this has been a